Such a beautiful day today, but unfortunately we're gonna talk something not beautiful. So, let's get this shit started, everyone. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night if you're about to sleep. Welcome to Mornings with Phil. Yeah, Phil, that's me. Ta-da! I kinda need to work on that, but support me, guys. So I hope you guys are staying at home, keeping yourself safe and healthy. Now, speaking of health, we're gonna talk about someone from the healthcare unit. It's not gonna be pretty, but I found it very interesting. So I was watching Netflix for a week. Okay, fine, 2 months. It's quarantine, guys. So I was watching this documentary series called Nurses Who Kill. Yep, you heard that right. So this documentary is based on real-life events that happened with nurses who killed people under their care. What? Yeah, really true. Of course, I was utterly shocked, but I got sucked into it. For once, I'm a nurse graduate, and most of my friends are nurses around the world. Which, by the way, I have really high respect on them right now, especially in this time of crisis. Let's all give them a big hand, guys. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. So, while I was watching the series, I was like, okay, this is kind of a bit, crazy. I was getting deeper to the episodes, like, okay, good, there are no Filipino nurses. Of course, we are caring and loving people. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Yeah? Well, wrong. Second to the last episode, boom, Filipino nurse. His name was Victorino Chua. Holy Mother Teresa. I was like, what? I didn't know about this, but this was in the news around 2015. Of course, I got interested and researched about him more. So let's begin. But before that, warning, this content is rated SPG and contains graphic descriptions of murders. Viewer discretion is advised. Professional. Alright? So, Victorino Chua, or the Devil Nurse in Stepping Hill, UK. His real name is Victorino Domingo Chua. He was born on October 13, 1965. And of course, around that time, he was one of the 6 siblings from their mother, Juanita. So their family was described not so poor and not so rich. So they were in the middle class. So they were kind of fine, actually. And also that time, they were under the dictatorship of Marcos, which was a crazy era for the Philippines that time. Now, Victorino had a difficult upbringing. Of course, Filipinos kind of a tough culture. For once, his mother wanted him to become a nurse. And yeah, like someone here, he never wanted to be a nurse, but you have to do it because you have to follow the parents. Now, sadly, his father died at the age 49 around 1985. Then Chua was very tormented about this. According to his sister, they were really close, which will explain more about his rage against people who crossed him. And he kind of keeps his anger so much, he does crazy things. So in the same year when his father died, he enrolled into a nursing school. The school was Manila's Metropolitan School for Nursing. But he didn't do well on his 3rd year, so he failed. So instead, he went to Galang Nursing School, and which was quote-unquote the worst nursing school around that time. But he had to do it because he has to finish his degree. So as soon as he graduated, he worked directly to the Galang Medical Center. But then, guys, many people died in this hospital. They even nicknamed it as the Galang Memorial Hospital. Whew, my god, that's some serious shit. Then it was closed, of course. But it was also rumored that Victorino started his appetite for murder around that time. And it wasn't clear that some of the patients that died were really murdered by him. But it wasn't clear, so yeah. Also, the documentation in the Philippines that time sucked. Or sometimes now. So a couple of years after, he was able to land a job back in the Metropolitan Hospital. And also around 1996, he was able to marry his girlfriend Marianne, I don't know, just Marianne. Of course, the Filipino culture, they had to live with a family, but instead, they chose not to, and they lived next to the family. So technically, they still see each other. Now, here's the take, guys. While he was still working on Metropolitan Hospital, he was accused of stealing 1,070 pesos. But around that time, it was big. It's a big money for Filipinos, okay? But the case was dismissed around 2002. They dismissed it because the hospital was embarrassed that one of their nurses stole money within the hospital. Now, soon after, he had an opportunity to move to Britain and work there. So February 21, 2002, he flew over to London. But before he worked in Stepping Hill, he worked a number of private nursing homes in Newlands in Stockport. I don't know where it is, but you people in UK, yeah, you tell me, okay? Now again, employers had a problem with Victorino. They fear that he has been stealing drugs from their patients and of course use it for his personal use. So Victorino left Newlands in 2007 and worked as a bank nurse for the meantime until he had a job in Stepping Hill in 2009. Now, during this time, Victorino received a lot of complaints again. It said that he wasn't caring to the patients as a nurse should. Now, one concerned elderly patient had breathing problems, and then she received an inappropriate treatment from Victorino. Instead of assessing her breathing problems or something or calling a doctor, he rubbed cream into her butt. But the hospital authorities didn't deal this problem appropriately. And again, I think they were afraid of embarrassment again. Oh my god, Victorino, you're closing all the hospitals here. Now, at the same time, police suspected him of stealing stuff from the patients and also stealing drugs from the nursing station. And again, no action was taken because there was no clear proof. Even though Victorino had these complaints and stuff, he was noted to be like a background, like no one noticed him in the hospital. And also at the same time, he often becomes competitive with his other co-workers. And sometimes he thinks like he's better than them. According to the co-workers, of course, I don't know them, okay? Now, Victorino secured his job in Stepping Hill, but at the same time, he had hepatitis B while working in the hospital. I don't know what's going on. Now at this point, Victorino was experiencing severe depression. The problem is that the team and his co-workers did not alert the managers about this. So the colleagues said, you know, you should write your feelings in a paper, tell all of your frustrations, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, like that. Of course, it's therapeutic. So Victorino did that and expressed all his feelings to the paper, which is a lot of papers. Now take note, this will be a strong evidence in the later murders. This is where the shit starts, okay? Now it started when one of the patients was having a sudden decrease of sugar blood levels. Of course, there's a lot of patients in the hospital with lower sugar levels in their blood. The problem was she came into the hospital with lung infection. She didn't have problems with her blood sugar. Okay, it's getting weird. So it means that she has a lot of insulin in her body. So before we continue, I'm gonna explain what insulin is. Insulin is a hormone that's produced by the pancreas in the body to allow uptake of glucose in the blood and used for muscles and cells in the body for energy. Now, this is very fatal if you have too much insulin. Now, you can only administer insulin if you have diabetes or low sugar blood levels in your body. Of course, they were alarmed. The hospital was alarmed. But it wasn't enough to start an investigation about this. But then, the next month, in wards A1 and A3, there had been a number of patients having hypoglycemia, and majority of them were severe, really severe. And guess what they found out in the IV drips, in the saline IV drips? Okay, use your head, use your head. It's something we administer for diabetes. Insulin. What the? Well, tickle my nipples. It's getting weird here, huh? Some of the patients had permanent damage and also went into comatose. And sadly, 3 died in the process. While this crazy shit was going on, Victorino was eyeing for a promotion. But there was someone on his way. She was also aiming for that promotion. Her name was Leighton. And we all know that, you know, Victorino can be a bit competitive. So he found a way to get rid of her. On 20th July 2011, Leighton was arrested for the incidents. While Rebecca was arrested, the investigation continued because they really want to know what really happened and how she did it. At the same time, all the healthcare workers were under the watchful eyes of the authorities. But the police never found anything about it. And 3 weeks later, Rebecca was released. They concluded that she didn't do it. So 6 months passed and nothing happened. But on January 2012, detectives were called again. So they were called because the hospital found that their records were tampered. Now, the prescriptions to the patients were changed, given into a very extreme high dosage that could kill. Not only that, they discovered missing drugs again in the nurse's station, and some insulin ampules were missing again. Now, the detectives conclude that tampering of their said records, which only mean one thing: it was carried by one of the staff. So the detectives looked into the shift because they have to find out who this culprit is. Then the detectives combined all the shifts from the 3 events that happened and revealed one name. One name. Victorino Chua. What? He was the only staff member that worked all 3 occasions of the incidents. Now, one crucial evidence was one of the patients who went into coma on July 11, 2011. They read into the nurse's notes, and Victorino stated that he was alert, eating, drinking, and moving. Overall, he was responsive. Now then, Victorino was taken to custody for questioning. The authorities tried to interrogate him. All he said was, "I don't know, no comment, I did not kill anyone." So then they decided to go to his house and search even more clues. Now, they found the key evidence, his notes. So, as the police read it, they were kind of a bit alarmed, really alarmed. They found it to be very sinister. So in his note stated that he really thinks about himself as very important, like he is above everyone in his work and also in his family. And also he stated that he's gonna kill himself. And then he was sure that he was going to hell. Now again, the detectives looked into his Facebook and they saw a very strange profile pic. So they saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was his profile pic. If I was like one of his friends in Facebook, like unfollow. And also, like, I'll be alarmed if I was his friend. Like, I would, ask around or something. So then the detectives decided to go to the Philippines and find out more about his credentials. Even though he was enlisted in the Professional Regulation Commission, or PRC, the part when he graduated in Galang nursing school was very questionable. And they found out that some people in Galang school, they tried to tamper their own certificate. Technically, they didn't graduate at all. So the team had enough evidence to prosecute against Victorino. And of course, the jury accepted the prosecutions and was found guilty in 3 murders and 19 poisonings. But they said it could have been more. So he was sentenced to prison, minimum 35 years of imprisonment, and until now, he's still there. His wife and 2 kids are still in the UK, and they didn't give any further comments about it. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, the family believed that he was really innocent. He was an angel. They even tried to make a campaign for his justice. Well, I understand because that's his family, but they have already seen his, strange behavior from the beginning, from the anger management and the stealing. They could have prevented this from the beginning. Now, guys, what makes Victorino different from the other nurse killers was that majority of the nurse killers, they have this condition called Munchausen by proxy. Now, Munchausen by proxy is a condition where caregivers instill sickness to their clients or patients. So they're making them sick. And what do they get out of it? They gain attention when they try to tend to their victims. Oh my God, someone is dying. I think I have to do CPR. Oh, please, someone notice me. For real, guys, that is really true. But Victorino didn't. So after he killed the patients, he was like, don't even care. I don't know, maybe he has a lot of anger with him and try to, express it like this, which is untherapeutic. Or he was just a bloodthirsty murderer. No, I don't know. This is just sick and sad actually, guys. My god, why am I talking about this? Because I'm weird. It's kind of sad because, especially for the patients, you think that you're in a safe environment and people are taking care of you and you're in the process of recovery. And then this thing happened, Victorino. Then it's kind of a big slap to the nurses around the world, especially for the Filipino nurses. And also the PRC in the Philippines, they could have taken note about Victorino's credentials. So what do you think about it, guys? Did he have like mental issues? Or he just wanted to kill people? Either way, he has some serious issues in his life. Well, I hope everyone there back in the hospitals are safe, actually, especially now. There's a lot of people in the hospitals because due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's just crazy. Well, that's it for now, guys. Quick reminder, guys, to stay at home, wash your hands, eat healthy food, maintain social distancing, and most important of all, subscribe me. Okay? So, goodbye.